Hello, hello. Aldwyn Altuney here with the amazing Leanne Clune. She is the publisher of the Radiant book series, and the first in the book series is about to be launched very shortly, actually on August 27, in just 10 days from now. Leanne is from the Gold Coast, like myself. She is mother to 3 children, and she has done an amazing job putting this book together, which has 22 heartfelt stories by authors from the Gold Coast, Brisbane, New South Wales, South Australia, Western Australia, and from the US. And we have a hot topic for you today, which I can't wait to chat about. We're going to talk about how to leverage your story for income, impact, and legacy. Welcome, Leanne.
Hello, Aldwyn, and thank you so much for having me on your show today. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you so much for coming on, Leanne. I know how busy you are. It's such a big job having 22 authors to coordinate with something like this. I think 22 is just the perfect number, though, because it is a master number. And it is amazing. The women that are in this book is just extraordinary. And also the fact the forward is by the amazing John Assaraf from The Secret is also incredibly exciting. So, Leanne, can we just go back a bit to your background, because, you have quite a varied background to what you're doing now. So just a bit to your working background and what it was that got you into doing this book.
Yeah, sure, Aldwyn. So I have 16 years experience as a professional finance advisor and mortgage broker. And during that time, I've helped hundreds of clients of dollars collectively. So I focused on increasing the cash flow for my clients. That's my zone of genius. And it was last year that I actually, for the first time, got an opportunity to write a chapter in a multi-author book. And so I decided, that sounds good. And it was for the purpose of increasing our business and increasing our exposure. So I did that, and it just blew my mind how much that it actually increased my business. I'd never done a chapter in a multi-author book before, a highly leveraged one at that. And actually, my business tripled as a result of, I assume that that's mainly due to the chapter in the book, the increased visibility and, all the connections that I gained from being in that book. And it really, because I'm all about increasing cash flow for my clients, I knew that I had to add this publishing company to my business because it was such an amazing synergy with what we're doing. With work, it's very niched what I added. So my publishing company is very niched, and I focus on publishing entrepreneur women that will increase their income, impact, and create a legacy through writing a chapter in a multi-author book.
Fantastic. Wow, your business tripled. Amazing. Your business tripled from the other multi-author book you were in, as you were saying, which is huge. And that was called Wild Women Rising. And 28 authors there, mainly from the central New South Wales coast. And you're saying, interestingly, with a lot of the authors, they're from your area here on the Gold Coast, although really they've come from all over the place here, which is very exciting. And a fantastic way to build your reach with a compilation book, really is. And that will, of course, lead to finances. Back to the point of finances, what are one of the biggest challenges you find with women, particularly around managing finances?
Yeah, it's mainly a lot of women that go into big time poor, and they don't have the hours in the day to be able to, hustle for work and stuff like that. So that's where the multi-author books can work out really well, because they're actually like a massive collaboration of like-minded women. You have a lot of support, and you know, it's just amazing the thing that you can do in that. And I know that in my Radiant collaboration with my authors, the 22 authors that you spoke of, but have to think about what you can offer the readers as a gift, just as a bonus gift. And then off their own back, just from this incredible energy in this group, some of the authors started offering the other authors just incredible gifts from their businesses. So it shows the other women what their area of expertise is. And actually, I've got a package now for one of our authors, Green, and I know that she sent me $500 worth of her amazing skincare. So I haven't opened it yet, but she did offer that every single 22 of the authors, which is just phenomenal to be in that energetic space. And so, you know, she's just so generous. So I told her I'd do a proper boxing of that.
That's amazing. That is incredibly generous. And maybe we could give her a mention in the comments here. And for those who are joining us, welcome to Media Queen TV here. And we are talking about the Radiant book that's going to be coming out with 22 co-authors from all over Australia and the US. And one of the ladies has donated a $500 pack, which is extraordinary, to all the authors. So really generous. Really generous lady. And who was that, and what was the donation exactly, Leanne? Do you know?
So that was Jason Good, yeah. And she runs Rococo Cosmetics, an international company. And yeah, I'm not sure what she offered, just a photo of your skin, and she will send us $500 worth of products suited particularly to our skin.
To our skin, to the type of skin we have.
So this is the sort of yeah.
Amazing.
This is the kind of high frequency that I've got in this group. It really has to lift everyone in the whole group up when you're in that space. Incredible synchronicities occur, and you know, it's just unbelievable what has happened in the last 6 months from starting this project. It's so much bigger than a book.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing. It's very, very exciting and so great to be part of it. I'm one of the co-authors as well, and have quite a few people I know in the book as well, which is really cool. So August 27 is the big day that it will be launched, and we'll talk a bit more about that. But I'm sure there's a lot of people here watching this that want to do a book or want to do a chapter in a book, and they just don't know how to share their story or even where to start with their story. Which part of their story should they share? And the topic today, of course, how to leverage your story for income, impact, and legacy. So with some of your authors, Leanne, that might have been challenged in this area, what were some ways that you helped them through to decide what story to share?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, Aldwyn, because I did a lot of training with my authors, as you know, it's been part of this group. And what I asked all of them is to look back on their life and pinpoint, you know, quite a few, say 3 to 5 major turning points that they had in their life. It didn't have to necessarily have to have anything to do with their business, but generally it does flow on to how they do their business now. And just to write down those times that were forks in the road, and they had to make some major decisions. Decisions, when they look back, really changed the whole trajectory of their lives and their businesses and how they now run their businesses. And after that, it very much activated the authors that thought that they didn't know what to write about. And it's amazing what happens when you start looking at life like that. More information will flow in. And I really don't think that we do it enough, particularly us busy entrepreneurs. And it's such a sacred thing to do, is to look back and go, wow, I had this and I had this happen. And also looking at challenges that we've had along the way, because it's really easy for people to look at who are at the leading edge in business and think, oh, well, they're just lucky, just pick the right business. But really, to talk about our human in a chapter and our challenges and how we overcame them into where we are now is such an inspiration. And when you really go deep and talk from your heart, it goes back to that sacred storytelling, that's eons old, like our ancestors used to do it around the fire. And you become magnetic to people. People want to know more. I know that I was reading every chapter that was coming in, and I felt such an intense connection to every author. After reading their chapter, I thought, I had no idea through that. And some have gone through enormous challenges that, you just don't talk about in everyday life. You don't talk about these sort of things at school pickup or wherever you are, at business events. So it helps to know, like, and trust with your audience, because people buy off people. And people want to know you more. They want to know that you're human and you're not just this business.
People connect when you share your story authentically, and that is one of the most powerful things you can do. In fact, authenticity is the new currency, they say. And so important to tap into that for yourself too, because a lot of people are really hard on themselves and they don't acknowledge the challenges that they have overcome. And part of those inspiring stories is, where have you overcome a big obstacle in your life and how did you come through that? That's what inspires people. And for those watching this right now, thank you so much for joining us. Let us know in the comments, where are you joining us from right now? And what is it about your story? Have you got something that you could share with us, perhaps in the comments, or just a challenge that you've overcome that you would like to acknowledge yourself for? And we can acknowledge you as well, as to what is something that you've done moving forward in your life that has been inspiring for you or for others. And once you share your story, of course, you are then leveraging that story, whether you're sharing on video or in a book or in the media. If you are sharing your story out there in a way that can be mass produced through something like this, then that can go on and you can really leverage that with a lot more people as they see that you've done the job once, and they'll see it again and again, like a book. And that's one of the most powerful things about a book, is that, people read it for years afterwards. The books hang around. People generally don't throw books out. So it is a really great way to leave a legacy for yourself, because when you die, you leave a library with you, they say. A whole library goes with you of information. So being able to share that is really fantastic. So on that topic, how to leverage your story for income, impact, and legacy. So what tips have you got for us today, Leanne, on how best to do that?
Yeah, so the first one is writing deeply from your heart, like I just said. And also, when you're in a multi-author book with a group of entrepreneurs, to really get to know the others that are in the group, and where that may lead you, I've even got some opportunities for my son that dances off one of the authors. She's like, I want him to do an advert, a promo for me. So you just never know where that's going to lead. Your visibility goes absolutely through the roof. It's like an actual marketing when you have so many different authors in the group. So absolutely using that, and just it catapults your exposure to, you just don't even know where you're going to end up. And we were so lucky luck, maybe not luck, but we've actually got John from The Secret, and he writing our foreword for the book.
Yes.
And I said lucky, but it's not really. It was actually strategic. Yeah. So some of our authors have done a very high-level business course with John. And one of the authors, and this is what I mean about the collaboration, one of them said to me, I could ask John to write the foreword, you know, I know him personally. And so can you imagine the extra exposure that we will get from John Asaraf, being the public that he is, writing our foreword and supporting our book? It's incredible.
Yes, huge.
And it's one of those things where you just have to ask and dream. Dream big.
Yes.
Because you never know what's going to happen or what can come out of it. And it was, like you said, there's been a lot of synchronicity in this book. It's a very divine book. It's been very divinely led. All of the training that I've done has been intuitively downloaded to me. So I would sit by the computer before I got on a training call with my authors, and I would just flow with the information that needed to go through. It literally just came through me. And the whole book like this, it's just incredible. So we're definitely, having a high profile person involved. And also with, making a legacy, it's not just about the tangible book, even though that's amazing to have the tangible book in our hands and we'll be able to get it printed. People can buy it for 99 cents. Also, we have partnered with B1G1, which is buy one, give one. And they are a charity administration service whereby entrepreneurs, part of it, like myself, we pay a monthly fee to ensure that all the money that is gifted goes to the ground. So there's no administration costs taken up in that, which I really like that. I like to know if I'm donating to charity that money hits the cause and hits the ground. So we've partnered with B1G1, and for each book sold, even at the 99 cent US launch price, we're actually donating one whole day worth of business and finance training to a impoverished woman in Uganda. And so, having that is incredible. You still there, Aldwyn? I don't know if he's gone. Are you there?
Yes, still here. I just made you solo there for a bit, so you could
sorry.
talk about that. No, that's okay. Just changing
sorry.
the layout. Changing the layout. All good. So B1G1, amazing charity or cause that I support as well. And to have John Asaraf also doing the foreword is extraordinary. So very, very exciting additions to it, and the amount of people that will be helped with the purchase of the book.
Yeah.
So
it has
very,
a
very
massive
cool
ripple effect all across the globe. And I even wrote about something that was really vulnerable to me, because here I am teaching the authors to write from their heart and about something that's very vulnerable and deep, a story. And it came to me that I needed to write about taking on the publishing company and starting it, even though that's brand new and it was out of my comfort zone. That was my story to write. So I've written about the challenges, and there were challenges with that. Definitely challenges with taking that on. and how I overcame them and the magic that unfolded with this publishing company. I mean, I set out to do one book, Radiant, this book that's being released on August 27th. And it soon became very clear to me that this was actually a series of books. It was not just one book. And with all the promotion that we've been doing leading up to the launch, you know, I've got the second book, I've got people lined up, messaging me, emailing me, I'm so interested, I want to be in it. So I know that this is really big. And I had to grow into that energetically to be able to hold the space and the project. So it was interesting and very interesting.
Yes, yes, and it was interesting also with the book how people were either really drawn to the book or not. You know, like it had that push-pull energy. Some people just loved it and just jumped straight in, and others were like, no, this isn't for me. Yes. Like it's really so what do you think that was, Leanne?
There was no in between.
No.
It was a magnetic. So with all my authors, you know, I didn't have to sell anyone to come into this book. It was a really interesting process. And I really let my hands off the steering wheel and just allowed the right people to come in or not come in. And that was fine. It was perfectly fine either way. I knew that I would get the right group of women in the book.
Yes.
And I mean, you saw Aldwyn because I was with you several times and we would talk to a few people and they were either magnetically attracted to being in this book and it was like, it was like almost a calling. I have to be in it. It was so deep. Or,
yes.
Nope, not interested. Nope.
Yes. And it's interesting.
And no further questions.
Yeah. And some of those
further conversation.
Yes. Yeah, and some of those people, they had their own full books out, but it's almost like they were opposed to doing compilation books, you know, because they had a full book that was their own book out and like being in a compilation for them was like not as good as doing a whole book. But the thing is, you know, a lot of people say they're going to do a whole book and then they just don't do it. So doing a compilation has many benefits. One of them being that you share your story, whether it's a chapter or a whole book, you're sharing your story. But the other thing, which I think is brilliant, is the exponential networking potential of being in a book with 22 people who are all sharing with their contacts and getting that out to so many people that you would not normally get your book out to. It's an amazing co-creation, like creating a baby together. That is very, very powerful. And I don't know anything quite as good as compilation books to do that as a co-creation. So
that's interesting. A lot of the authors do have their own book as well.
Yeah, well, that's interesting too. So some people who do have their own book then see the value in also having a compilation book, and some people really don't. Some people don't have no interest in being in a compilation book. Whereas myself, I mean, I'm going for the Guinness Book of Records for the most number of books at the moment. I think I'm up to about 11. These are just some of mine here that I've been in. These are just some of the joint books here. So many there. There's just some of them. It's just some of the books. I seem to be in a new one about every few months at the moment. It's just been going crazy. And obviously a resurgence of a lot more people putting compilation books together too, which is interesting. It wasn't such a big thing a few years ago. It seems to have become more and more popular now. And, you know, there's no shortage of books to appear in that you can, you know, collaborate with people. And I think, you know, having a reasonable price to come into a book like this, I think is important too. You know, if it's too expensive for people, then they're not going to join in either. And I think yours is very reasonably priced as an investment. And also the support you gave was extraordinary and like I hadn't seen in a lot of other compilation books I'd been in, where you had weekly calls where you're supporting the authors to write their book or write their chapter and to you know, and all sorts of other training that you gave as well. Like we had the free publicity training, you had other trainings, etc. So I think you know, you've got a huge heart for what you do, Leanne, and you definitely over-delivered to the authors that were in it. I'm sure moving forward that, you know, there's going to be the same for future books as well that you do. So what are some other tips? If we just rehash over your main points for those that might have just joined us, just rehash over the main points so far that we're talking about, how to leverage your story for income, impact, and legacy, and then come to your next one. So what have we covered so far, Leanne?
Yeah, so basically we've talked about when you write your deep, heartfelt, pick one event that may have changed your life and you write about it and how that now relates to the business that you do. That's what I've asked my ladies to do in this book. People really resonate. They really resonate with people that can speak from their heart vulnerably, especially women that are really successful in business, really dropping their guard and speaking heartfelt about the challenges that they've had. It's actually magnetic. You know, it really helps to go low. And like I said, every chapter that came in, and I was magnetized to these chapters. I'd spent months training these women to the chapters, and I still didn't know all this. And it blew my mind when I read them, and I just had a whole new level of respect for them. And then I could join the dots between what they had been through in their life and now what they do as a business. It's just incredible. So that's a huge one. And collaborating with like people and being in a space frequency, and you're allowed to be vulnerable. You know, we've had some of the authors crying because it is hard. It's actually hard to write deeply about yourself and your life. And you don't know who's going to pick up this book because it's being launched internationally. So there's out there now going, oh gosh, I don't know, because they're getting the pre-launch nerves, which is normal.
Yes.
I'm not sure if the world's ready for that story. So it's so powerful, you know. I do tell them not to write about anything too raw. So we have had to rework a few chapters just because they weren't ready. It was too emotional for the author to discuss. You need to have healed to a certain degree your story. You don't want it to be too raw. However, that depth and speaking from your heart, and really just, you know, I teach my authors to flow it out of them, not to think about it, not to write it from their head, to write it from your heart.
Yes, right from the heart, where you get the flow with the writing, right? That's where the flow comes in, when you're writing from the heart, not from the head. Yes.
I had an author and she flowed it out. She said to me, I will know when I'm ready to do my chapter. And she flowed it out into a voice recorder. I had asked my authors to write 3,000 to 3,500 words for their chapter. She flowed it out verbally into a 3,000 words. Just incredible.
Wow.
Took her an hour.
Wow. Amazing. Wow, spot on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like intuitive speaking or writing.
The visibility. Yeah. That's the story that was meant to come through her. And our stories come through us so that we can help others and ignite the light in others. So it's got a real flow-on effect there. Power of it. You know, also visibility absolutely catapults from being in a multi-author book that's very highly leveraged. So I start that process right from the start. I start training, and I encourage my authors to collaborate. Of course, you don't have to collaborate with everyone, and you probably can't, because there's so many opportunities. It's unlimited, honestly. You're looking at a group of 20, 30 women in business, but then you're looking at their, all of their audience as well. And they might go, oh, if they get to know you and your business, they'll start going, I know someone that knows you. So it's not just about the authors collaborating, it's about thinking of other people, and it becomes exponential very quickly. The visibility of each of us sharing on our socials and tagging each other and getting excited about this whole thing, it really is huge visibility. And that's actually one thing that my chapter, and I'll talk about it, is such amazing visibility. You'll remember this, Aldwyn, right at the start. So I started to tell my authors, let's get it out there, let's start sharing our socials. We got such huge visibility so quickly, within about a week, that I got a phone call from another publisher saying that I had to change the title of the book or risk legal action. I knew the power of I think that's when I knew the power of this book. I thought, whoa, this is big. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. I do. Very interesting that happened. And in fact, the new title was so much better than the first one anyway, as it turned out. So thank you to that person who came forward with that and didn't want that first title out there. It's just perfect. Everything's in divine order, as they say. And, it's great how you dealt with that too, Leanne, because initially you were a little bit shocked. However, you were able to turn it into a positive so quickly, and it's just turned out perfect. And everyone loves the title now. Radiant is just perfect. It's fantastic. So very, very powerful. Hello, Mick. Good to see you there. Mick says,
incredible because...
Yeah. Yeah. Mick, I'm just saying hello to Mick here. Mick says, looking good, Aldwyn. Come and be in my book. Thank you, Mick. And then he's laughing here. He's got a few laughs. Thank you, Mick. I appreciate that. Well, there we go. Tell me more about your book, Mick. I look forward to hearing more about that. And that's the thing, is that a lot of people who have a chapter in different books often end up in multiple books. I know I'm not the only one who has a chapter in multiple books. I know that it's a thing that, once you get in one chapter, and it's great because it's much easier for the second and third chapters that you do, because you've already written out your background story, which doesn't change. Your history doesn't change up until this point. We keep rewriting history, I guess, with our future and with what we're doing. However, the main crux of your background, of your story, remains the same. So each compilation book I've done, I've just tweaked a little bit in the book, and depending on the theme of the book, I've just tweaked little sections of it and changed bits of it to suit that particular theme of that book. So, for example, the Forever Changed by Suicide book, obviously that one is more focused on, my 4 friends that took their own life, and that I've had depression, etc., over the years. This one, the Why Not book, well, that was more about empowering stories from female leaders. So that was more about, why not decide certain things that I did in my life. Undefeated this one came out more recently. This was moving from ordinary to extraordinary. So looking at areas of my life when I've done that. So, each book has its own theme. The Visions of Success one here. Also the, that was more about inspiring stories of success, passion, and focus, whereas this one was more about mindset, elevate your mindset, right? So all got slightly different themes. However, your background story does remain the same. And to be able to get that out, whether it's verbally or write it out, is a very powerful thing. And it's interesting, as I've been writing about my history, and there's bits that I've tweaked each time into my history, because there's extra things I remember sometimes, because particularly if you've had any traumatic experience in your life, sometimes we block these experiences out of our memory. And so sometimes, when you least expect it, from your subconscious, a memory will pop up and you think, oh yeah, I'll put that in there as well. So it's a really great process to go through actually writing a chapter and sharing your story. Yeah, great tips there, Leanne, so far.
It really
Fantastic.
is a powerful.
Yeah.
Another thing that a lot of my authors are saying is that they've got a book now, you know, so it's actually activated them to write their solo book. Whereas before, they didn't know what to put in it or where to start. Whereas with the multi-author book that I facilitate, everything's done except for writing the chapter. I can't do that for your authors. So, but everything else is done. So the marketing's done, the training, the book cover's done, all the editing, professional editing, everything's done for you, the formatting. You don't have to worry about all the bits and pieces that go into the publishing of the book. You just have to worry about writing and submitting one chapter. And another thing that my authors say is interesting because it's happened to me every time I've written a chapter. And I did a chapter last year, which sparked me to start this publishing company. And I don't think I've stopped writing since. So I'm just in a frenzy of writing chapters and contributing. And what happens is it just brings up all these of information and parts of your journey that are relevant. And so a lot of my authors have got just plentiful social media posts and content that they can talk about. You know, they can get out quotes from the book. It's just incredible how much extra information comes from this process. And, you know, last year I had new courses come to me. So I was writing my chapter for the book about my journey, and in the middle of the night I'd get up and I'd have a new finance course and I'd just write it out. Where did that come from? And same thing has happened this year. As I'm doing the training for reading, I'm just getting all these like messages and guidance of what I need to do and where I can go and where this can go. It's just been incredible for business growth. Just incredible.
And you don't know where that business can come from, but it's the fact that you're connecting and sharing from the heart that is more likely to bring in business because, as you say, you know, people follow people, as Sam Cawthorn wrote a book about that from Speakers Institute. People follow people. And marketing is all about building relationships and building trust, you know, and trust comes when you share from the heart. That's when people really connect with you. And that is so important now for people to want to do business with you. They need to know, like, or love you and trust you, right? And now you need so many more touch points than we used to a year ago or 2 years ago. You know, nowadays you need to build the trust up even more with people. And to be in a book with people is like, you know, it's like you're creating a baby together. It's like when I used to do acting in theatre. You know, every time we did a theatre show, it was 3 months of rehearsals with the other performers. And you know, every time it's like we created a baby with the show that we did. And same with many film projects I've been on, with feature films or with TV commercials. Each time you're with a group of people, you're creating a project together. And there's something really special about that dynamic that can happen with people co-creating a creative project together. And you're facilitating that, Leanne.
I feel like you become the connections in the group become very strong, and particularly with the weekly trainings that I've had. You know, not everyone, we're all busy. So I always say to my authors, look, you know, the recording will be in the Facebook group if you can't make it. I totally understand. However, getting on a and connecting with people. Like, honestly, I haven't met half of the authors in real life because of lockdowns and what have you. I've got 14 women from the Gold Coast, and I haven't met half of them in real life, but I'm very connected to them. I'm so connected to them all. It's unbelievable. And the same thing happened to me when I wrote in the book last year. I was very connected to the women on the New South Wales coast. So it's similar dynamic. The publisher on the New South Wales Central Coast, her author. I'm on the Gold Coast. Most of my authors are here. However, I do have them around Australia and also from the US. So it's super exciting.
Amazing. And just so perfect for the current times. You know, that whole lighting the light in others, I think, is just so important now. And, you know, you've said in the press release that the book aims to give people hope and inspire them to keep moving forward, even in the darkest times. Many people and businesses are experiencing such darkness on the planet at the moment and going through extremely challenging times. So may the stories in this book remind business owners this too shall pass. And there are many others who have gone through extreme challenges in their businesses over the years and have come through the other side. And that is such an important message. And I'm going to copy the link for the press release. If people want to read that, the whole press release, you can actually read it at this link here on my website. That is just such an important message. You know, there's been more suicides through COVID now, a lot more depression for those that aren't handling things so well right now. So actually, you know, having a supportive, positive group of people around you is really important, and actually lifting your own vibration so that you can lift the energy of those around you. And I know that you're very spiritual as well, Leanne, as much as you're great with the figures and you know, you're a great balance of this world and other worlds. And, you know, what are some tips you can give people to actually help to see the positives in things and to stay positive at this time?
I think, however hard it is, and I totally acknowledge hard, I think we have to really keep going back to what we're grateful for. You know, we've got a roof over our head, even basic things. We've got food in the fridge. Just grateful, grateful for life, and just sinking into that deep trust and knowing that we've been through challenging times before. We get through them every time. We always get through them. Some are harder than others. But always get through them. You look back on your life, you've got through every single time. You're still alive, you know? So just really thinking into that, know and trust yourself. And I do totally acknowledge that they are, some business owners at the moment are just going to and utter extreme difficulties and chaos. And I find myself talking to a lot. I go to the farmers market every Saturday. It's one of the things that I do, and I buy my food directly from the farmers. And I've got to know them, and you know, people just talk to me. I've always been like that. I wrote about it in the chapter as well. Always been someone that people open up to quickly. So I've had that trust. I developed trust very quickly. And that's been right throughout my life, you know, since I was remember at school, at primary school, I was that one that they'd go, I need to talk to them. So like a counsellor type thing. And it's funny that I went into advice because that really used my skills, and then so does this company. But yeah, just really sinking into, you've gotten through everything else. You've gotten through every other challenge in your life. You've got such inner strength. And just going back to what you're grateful for and trying to live.
Yes, you will get through this.
Going back to basics.
I just missed the last few things
that give you joy.
Yeah. Find some things you enjoy. Yeah.
Sorry,
I've missed a few things you said there, Leanne.
Find things that give you joy. Find things that give you joy.
Yes.
That's really important. And they don't have to cost money, you know. Like I've got a big singing bowl that myself and my husband and my kids will play, and the whole sound just reverberates through the whole house. It's incredible.
Yes. Yes, the singing bowls are beautiful. I've been loving doing yoga lately, going for beach walks. I went for a swim in the ocean this morning on the Gold Coast. Yes, it is winter time here, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely, the sun is shining. We have a completely blue sky, hardly a cloud in the sky today. It is just absolutely stunning here on the Gold Coast. And I was just being so grateful on the beach as I was walking. And one thing I do when I go under the waves is I think of something I'm grateful for when I go under the waves. And I come out of the ocean and I just feel amazing. And, you know, something Tony Robbins does every morning is he jumps into cold water every morning. And one of the hardest things you do is get into that cold water. But the minute you come out, you feel amazing, right? So, you know, sometimes, you know, stepping out of your comfort zone can also be a fantastic thing too, and just appreciating the beauty that's all around us. Even in lockdown, there's so much we can still do even in lockdown, right? And, you know, you can dance around the house, you can learn an instrument. I like playing the ukulele as well. So what is it that you love to do? And Bob Proctor actually said one way to find your purpose is to do as much of what you love every single day. Just keep doing what you love. Now, I'd like to do a shout out here for the other authors. Now, Leanne, would you like to share the authors I've put into the private chat there? You can have a look at, I've just put the list of names. Now, I'm not sure if these are all the authors, so some started with the book and then you know, pulled out, etc. But generally, most of the original authors are there. So is that list there that if you could just read out the other authors and the ones that are currently in the book that are staying till the end of the book?
Okay. Yes, thank you, Aldwyn. Sorry, we have had one author had to not publish in this book due to legal reasons, so that's fine. She'll be in the next book. In the Radiant Visionary Women Igniting the Light in Others, our authors are, we've got Anandi Sonoy, Joshua Benet, Jacene Greenwood, Lee Mowena, Deb Norman, Jenna, I'm not sure how to say Jenna's surname. Oh.
I think it's Shakowski.
How do you say it?
Shakowski.
Shakowski, that's it.
Shakowski, yeah. Shakowski.
Sarah Lyons, Michelle Lee, Adrienne Sky, Tracy Wiltshire, Marley Jalander, Kiwi Jansky Bradley, Suzanne McTeer Brown, Evelyn Wilton, Stacey Marie, Crystal Lavogna, Angela Giampolo, Angelique Pellegrino, Laura Doe Harris, and Christina Huia.
Yes.
As they're all our amazing, beautiful
amazing ladies.
And also I wrote a chapter myself.
Yes, you wrote a chapter. I wrote a chapter. So that makes 22 amazing women in this extraordinary book.
We have all different professions as well. So it was, yeah, I deliberately called in women from all different modalities and professions, and that, of course, strategically increased the collaboration between the women. We're not in competition. And even if some of our expertise are similar, we're not in competition, you know, like that's how I live and that's how I've always run my business. There are always opportunities. Yeah. So we've got solicitors, we've got spiritual teachers, we've got show hosts, we've got who else have we got? We've got Self Aldwyn, media specialists, we've got Bowen therapy specialists, we've just got all sorts of modalities. We cover a lot. So vast experience these women have had, and I deliberately called in women that have been in business for quite a few years. So they're not startups. They've got established businesses, and they've been in the trenches. They've done the hard yards, so to speak.
Yes. Yes, it's fantastic. And just such a supportive group of women. It really does feel almost like we're sisters, you know. That's the kind of feeling I get with the other ladies that I have connected with online. And I haven't connected with all of them yet, but the ones that I've met, and some of them are my own clients actually, or some of my media clients, like yourself. Some of them, you know, we're in that community as well together. So it really has been wonderful. And I know that the women are just loving it and raving about it. And you'll see that all over social media. You'll see lots of shares around people so excited to be in the Radiant book. So moving forward, for you, you've got a goal to have several books, and this is actually going to be a series. So what are the plans now for your next book? When do you plan to do that, and how can people get involved with that?
Yeah, so I'm calling forward for authors. Will be another book compilation of entrepreneurial women. So I'm calling forward for authors now. If you're interested in it, you can send me an email to leanne@leanneclune.com.au. You can all go to www.radiantbooks.com, and that one will probably kick off probably in about 1 month. So we'll start the training and everything in about a month, because I've already got authors sitting there for that one. So I was going to leave it for a bit longer. However, you know, I take the guidance when it comes, and I've got people saying we want to be in it. So let's go.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
So just reach out to you on social media and inquire about that if you're interested to be in the next book. And is it just women in the next
social media? Yeah, absolutely.
Just women in the next
book? It is just women again, and then I'll probably open it up to men. Yep.
Okay. So men, we're also looking to have you in a book as well.
I will be open to men later.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, awesome.
I've met some amazing men, entrepreneurial men that are very heartfelt as well. I meet a lot of these people just about, you know, at the markets and at the farmers markets and places like this where we get talking. And I was actually there, I think it was last week, and I was talking to a guy and I was telling him about my books. And I told him that John Assaraf has written the foreword. And I had a stranger, she was talking to someone I'd never met her before. She stopped her conversation immediately. She came and interjected my conversation with this man at the market and said, "Did you just say John Assaraf has written your foreword of your book?" Yes. I felt like a bit of a celebrity. She goes, "What is your name?" And she wanted all my details. She's like, "What is your Facebook? What's the link to your book? My husband's done all his courses. He's amazing." And so right then and there, she was, "Give me your business card. Give me your Facebook group. Give me your website. I want this book." It was incredible.
Wow. Amazing. And that is really fantastic. I must say, when I watched The Secret, I loved John Assaraf and his story about how he had a vision board and he pictured this big white mansion as a dream home. And then when he pulled the vision board out of a box 5 years later, he found he was living in the house that he actually had on the vision board, which is extraordinary. I love that story about him. Yes, it's goosebump material. And we've had many moments
as well.
Yes, beautiful, man. And we've had many goosebump moments, haven't we, when we've been in sessions together, when we've had the Zoom trainings, many goosebump moments of some of the things that the ladies have been sharing. So it is an extremely very special project. I think as far as compilation books go, this is really something extraordinary that you've created, Leanne. So exciting. And the big launch is in just 10 days time. So can you share again what is happening with that Amazon launch there, Leanne, and why is it so special?
So we are launching on August 27, Australian Eastern Standard Time at 9 a.m. And we will have the links for the purchase of the book at 99 US cents at 9 a.m. on that day. We are going to for bestseller in Australia and also international. So we're asking for people to support us by purchasing a copy for only $9. It's crazy value. There are so many gifts in this book and bonuses, and it's so full of value. You're also, for each book that's sold at the 99 cents, we are giving 1 day of business and finance training to a woman in Uganda. So that is creating impact for people across the globe. So we're created impact for the authors, we've created impact for the readers, and we're creating impact for the beneficiaries of the donations from B1G1, which is the women in Uganda. So to register for the link, we want to get this launch going on the weekend, and we want as many people to buy at 99 cents as possible. It's not going to stay at 99 cents. There's no way we can keep it at 99 cents. This is a $33 recommended retail price book, and it's just a special launch offer for a very short period of time, probably just that weekend. So the 27th of August until the end of August, basically. You can register to get the link as soon as it's available by going to www.radiantbooks.com. We're not going to spam you with a heap of emails. We're not going to just put you on some email list and keep emailing you. Basically just to get the link to purchase the book. And then if you want more information about our upcoming summit with our authors, there'll be a little tip in there if you want information on that. And if you're going, totally fine. So that's what we've got going on. We're having a big celebration with all of the authors. We're Zooming in, and we're hopefully going to meet in person, just depending on what's happening in the world on the 27th. So big celebration on the 10th of August.
Yay, in just 10 days' time. And I popped that link into the chat there. If you're not seeing it where you are, we'll make sure that that is in the chat. Sometimes the chat doesn't always come through from StreamYard through to Facebook or YouTube, but if it's not there, I'll make sure it's there after this interview so you can see those links. So radiantbooks.com for details about that. And if you want to be in future books with Leanne, any future Radiant books, then please reach out to her. And already there's authors coming through thick and strong. So do you know how many authors you might cap the next book at, Leanne?
Honestly, I'll go with it. I know when it's full. Like this one, I was initially thinking that it'd be more authors, and then I think I told you, I said, no, it's full. I just knew it was full. So yes. I pretty much go off my intuition with that. We'll go between 20 and 30, but I'll know Ruth is ready for blast off.
Okay, brilliant. And what has been one of the best things for you, Leanne, with this whole process of doing the book? What have you enjoyed most about it?
I really got out of my comfort zone to on this publishing company, and at some stages I didn't even know that I could pull it off. To be honest, I thought, what have I done? Honestly, what have I done? But I just went into my inner strength and kept going, and I can't believe what has been created. I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of what's happened, and also the connections with the authors. It's just been incredible to have such deep, really soulful connections with my authors. Once I get off this live stream, I'm about to unbox my amazing gift that I was sent by JC Greenwood of $500 worth of skincare. It was an unconditional gift from her, and she's offered it to every single author in the group, and she's got the most incredible skin, raving about it. It's just looking at watching the authors transform and really watching the best parts of them come out in this amazing space.
Yes, fantastic. Thank you so much for that generosity. It is extraordinary, and really looking forward to connecting closer with the authors as well. Very, very cool, and great cause as well through B1G1. Big shout out to all those involved with B1G1. Big shout out to them because there's so many different charities and groups that they support through that. And here you can see 1 day of financial and business training provided for women in Uganda for each book, each launch book sold. So with every book sold at just 99 cents US, you are actually supporting 1 day of financial and business training for women in Uganda, which is very, very cool. So thank you for that too, Leanne, for your generosity with that. It's been an amazing project to be part of, and big congratulations to the other authors, which we mentioned there before, and the full press release is up on my website at aaxpose.com. I put the link into the chat there. We'll see that there shortly. Any other final words, Leanne, before we wrap up on how to leverage your story for income, impact, and legacy, or anything else you'd like to share?
Just really want to tell everyone that has been thinking about maybe writing a book. Most of my clients that I have had conversations with always say they've got a book in, but they don't know where to go, and they don't know where to start, and it's overwhelming. Have a look at writing a chapter in a book. It's it's actually a life-changing experience. And I did ask all of my authors to give one word of their experience of being in this book. And honestly, the words that they came back to me with just gave me goosebumps. And I had things like life-changing, gosh, I remember the words I had, Aldwyn. I'm going to put them on
Gratitude, transformation.
site.
Maybe we can pop them in the chat later.
Electrifying.
Electrify.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
It's electrify.
Yeah.
Grease lightning.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
You're electrified.
But just describing it in one word and getting them to describe it in one word, and the words that came back were just incredible. They were just incredible.
It would be great to share that. It'd be great to share that in the chat, maybe afterwards.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Afterwards, we could share that. Well, Leanne, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you, and we did have some tech issues earlier, so hopefully you could hear us okay. If there's anything that wasn't clear in this interview, then please pop into the comments. If you have any questions, comments, what you got out of this, would be great to hear from you. Where you are in the world right now watching this, please pop into the comments as well. Fantastic job, Leanne. Brilliant. Radiant Books, check it out. Radiant Books, I'll pop that back up on here again for you. There it is. Radiant Books, Radiant with an E, RADIANTE books.com, and come and support us and buy a book for just 99 cents US. Great cause, and help us get to bestseller, which I'm sure it will. I'm sure it's going to be bestseller. I'm sure there's going to be lots of abundance around this book, and that will be August 27 in just 10 days from now. 2021, of course, could be years later that you could be watching this, who knows. It's 2021 we're talking about, and creating magic every moment with Radiant. Thank you so much, Leanne. Once again, any final words from you? Final words of wisdom?
Thank you so much. And I just want everyone to remember that there are infinite possibilities, and just take the courage to follow and the rest, let it unfold. Let it unfold. It's an incredible journey. This is a legacy work. I feel honoured to be legacy work, and it's just been an incredible year. I've had absolutely phenomenal personal growth from this process. I look back to the person that I was 6 months ago and I don't even recognize. So follow your heart.
Yes. Follow your heart. And talking of that, I actually just happen to have a love heart right here. And remember to share the love. And as my girlfriend Tracy says, oh, yes. All the love that is there for others is also there for you, right? So here's to being kind to yourself and others at this time. Know that this too will pass. All these challenges will pass. And there's plenty of support out there when you know where to look. And we are here supporting you right now. Hopefully you've enjoyed this, watching this. Thank you once again, Leanne. You're amazing. Congratulations on Radiant #1. The first Radiant in the series, and no doubt we'll be having more chats down the track as these progress and with more books and more installments and media, etc. So on the media trail now. So anyone out there watching this, if you do a podcast or want to interview Leanne, then please do reach out. The press release is at the link there, which has all the background details. All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. As Gandhi says, thank you, Leanne. As Gandhi says, be the change you wish to see in the world. And as I say, shine bright and light up all those around you. Signing out for Media Queen TV, how to leverage your story for income, impact, and legacy with the amazing Leanne Clune. Thanks for joining us, and you have a beautiful day or night wherever you are in the world. Bye for now.